Life Audio.
Today on Talk About That, John tells us his elaborate sleeping regimen and tries to bring back the offeratory in church services. Meanwhile, I get a case of the church giggles and share the complicated history of the Wizard of Oz. Plus, a conversation about confirmation bias and why truthfulness still matters. Today's episode is not sponsored by the self-checkout aisle at your grocery store. Grab a name tag. You work here now.
It's a Bantertown train, Johnny. Better get aboard. We're heading out to talk about that.
We choo-choo. You know, I just got back from Chattanooga, home of the Chattanooga Choo-Choo.
Do they still make a big deal about that there?
Well, they have the old station there, and it's called, so the comedy club is called the Comedy Catch at the Choo-Choo.
Oh.
So it's near the old station. And that whole area now is a lot of cool restaurants and trendy old brick buildings that they've turned into something.
Yeah. I love Chattanooga, and we used to go there a lot, but you can't get through it now.
It's a lot of traffic. For a city its size, it has too much traffic.
Because it's the route to Atlanta. So we go to Atlanta a lot, and Chattanooga is an extra hour. Like, used to, you just drive through, and now it's like, nope.
No, you don't.
So shout out to Chattanooga, but guys,
yeah,
it's time to widen the
But when
roads.
I book shows there, please come out. And people did. It was a good show, and I met some folks who've been, and some of them were podcast listeners.
Huh.
They were like, "Where's John?" They always elbow me. I think they think we're roommates. And
that would be.
Wouldn't it be something?
We've been road roommates before.
Well, and we're getting ready to take a trip together, and that's one of the things I said to you is like, "Hey, let's get separate rooms."
And we did.
Because I was like, "Look, listen, it's fine," and I get the whole point. But it's like it's the shared bathroom.
Yeah, there's four of us.
It's not even if you're going to put a bed next to another bed. Like I'm fine. Like, hey, we can talk. We can stay up late. Whatever.
Well, we don't.
It's like a sleepover.
You just get on your phone.
Whoa.
And it hurts.
Whoa. But the shared bathroom is just because it would have been three of us. That's just that's a bridge too far.
Well, the third person.
That's a toilet too far.
The third person has a snoring problem.
Yeah.
And I don't
My
think
snoring really resolved once I lost the weight. I didn't lose all the weight, but I'm saying once I lost a certain amount of weight, my snoring resolved. Now, maybe I have apnea still, and I'm slowly.
I mean, once I started taping my mouth, taping my nose open, using a square pillow, and putting a neck brace on.
You have a lot of.
And covering my head with a hood.
You do that all
and
still?
Putting a fan in my face. It really helped.
You do all that still?
No, not all of it. I don't.
That's like 8 things.
I'm not taping my mouth anymore, but I still do the nose open thing.
Man.
And then
There's got to be a sermon illustration about mouth tape.
Yeah.
About how, I don't know.
You know, the most famous one you can find on or most, I don't know if it's famous, sorry, the most popular
well-known mouth tape
is called hostage tape.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I was like, that's a little on the nose, like, well, actually it's on the mouth, if you know what I mean.
Hey now, don't tape your nose.
Yeah.
But why is it better to breathe through your nose than your mouth? What exactly is going on in there? Is it because all of that dries out? Well, and it dries out your mouth too, right? And that's what causes like dental problems, I think.
Yeah, it dries out. Plus, there's more obstruction trying to go through the throat.
I don't know the whole.
See, Johnny, if you think about it, the mouth has multiple purposes. It eats, it breathes.
Yes.
The nose only has one. You don't eat through your nose. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So let it breathe. Let it do what it was made to do, and stop trying to use other orifi for such things.
Orifi?
I don't know if that's.
Orifices
has sounded.
It would be funny to talk to somebody who's confused and they tape their nose because they want to be a mouth breather. Yeah. I've been using this nose tape. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
There are people who wear those breathe right strips around on their everyday life now. They've become socially acceptable just to wander around with. I have a friend who does that. Really? He's just like, look, I need the oxygen. Maybe they have a caved in septum or something. They're just like, look, this is what I have to do. Cause, the ones that are magnets.
That's the one I have.
Yeah. It just pops it open.
That's what I use.
And they go, you can't believe the rush from that first hit of oxygen.
It is pretty great. Yeah, it's called...
You sleep with that?
Yeah, that's what I sleep with.
It's a magnet. Mm-hmm. So it's a reusable. It's not the tape kind.
Well, you have a rigid thing, but you have to put new stickers on every night with the metal in it.
Metal.
Yeah, little metal sticker.
They're going to figure out that's bad for you probably in about 2 years.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, there'll be like a commercial to come on. Breathe right strips, and then the next commercial will be like, if you use breathe right strips between these 2 years.
Mine's called, my wife's screaming because she probably knows the name of it. I can't remember the name of it. It's not breathe right.
Magnos.
Breathe wrong.
Magnos.
Magnos. No, I can't. Oh, it's right there. I can see the package. And yet here we are.
It's okay.
My brain's been doing pretty well.
Yeah?
Lately.
Remembering things?
Yeah. I think
it's because you're breathing better. They say that's what it is. The brain fog is caused by you're slowly depriving yourself of oxygen at night. Isn't that what it is?
Well, and also, by the way, I've added a air filter. A room purifier.
We have some of the oldest conversations now that you could possibly have.
Look, I just want to sleep, man. I don't want to wake up coughing. And I wake up coughing like once every 30 days.
We're so close to bird watching.
I used to wake up coughing like every night or every other. Now it's like once every 30 to 60 days. So, hey, I stand by it.
Yeah, I do the bit now about night terrors, but I talk about how people try to cure them. And I go, I don't want to be cured. I go, I need it. I need once a month. I need to know what I would do. I need the fire drill, And then what I always say is, and the results are in, I'm a coward because the tests are, I'm failing these tests.
You do get this chance to figure out what you would do if you thought you were in trouble. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's a pop quiz for a horrifying situation. And I am failing these quizzes but yeah, about one a month is enough. Yeah. Where you go, is someone here? Are there bugs on me?
I do that occasionally.
Yeah.
Not much anymore, though.
It'd be weird if you were okay with bugs being on you, though. You're like, you know what? This is probably a dream.
No, I know what it'd feel like or whatever. Yeah. No. By the way, speaking of bits, you have another bit that's really blowing up right now.
Oh, the one about the hymnal.
Yeah.
Which that's based on a true story.
It's a true story with us.
It's not 100% true as far as like I wasn't a kid when it happened, but
I was a kid when it happened.
Learning about that song, If I Could But Touch the Hem of His Garment.
Wait, so y'all didn't use that song growing? Because that's a normal. No. Okay, so it came from.
It was But I remember hearing about it after I met you.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was such a funny thing. And because we're all juvenile, if I could but touch. But then we were at your church one time. We were going to play a show that night, I think, and we were attending your church that Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And your mom got up to sing during the offeratory, which is, again, a very old sentence. Churches still do offeratories.
Yeah, sometimes.
They do offerings, but I'm saying, do we do a special presentation of some...
You know what? I want to bring back the offeratory or the offering time, but I realized the other day it would be like, hey, everyone take out your phones.
Right.
Because almost everybody gives online.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
I want to put my phone in the basket. Be like, you decide.
Come on now.
Huh?
Yeah. I want to go and unlock it, and you just go ahead and QR code the giving mess out of that.
It's the widow's megabyte. You like that?
Guys, that's our show.
I think we got what we need.
I think we got what we need.
No, but yeah, so she gets up to start singing during the offeratory, and it's a boom chuck kind of a song. And then our friend Brian, who was our drummer in the band, he looks over and he goes, If I Could But Touch. And I thought he meant like, it's going to be a song like that.
Yeah.
Because I'd never heard the song. I'd never heard the song.
I can't believe
it.
I could sing it right now, almost every line.
And then your mom goes into, If I Could But Touch the Hem of His Garment. And I got the worst church giggles.
You did.
I mean, we were, I think I really did have to leave the room. Because I couldn't believe that she chose that song. Because she didn't know. She didn't know what it meant to us.
Yeah.
She didn't know the significance of it. So yeah, so there's a bit that I do about that, but I kind of put myself as a kid in the bit. And so it's a mostly true. My buddy Marty Simpson, when people ask him how he comes up with his material, and they go, is it all real? And he goes, look, everything I say on stage either happened to me or a friend or I made it up. And I think that's a good code to live by as a comedian.
Well, shout out to my mom.
Yeah.
Because she helped that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Judy Driver, and let me tell you what, she sang it too. She put a little something on it.
Oh, she could sing.
She's a great singer.
She's
she has natural vibrato.
Yeah. You should hear, when I was younger, she was the youngest girl of 8.
Uh-huh.
And there's one younger brother. And when they would all get together and sing that familial harmony, you know? Because, I mean, it was...
There's something about that, too. That's why there's so many family bands. It's not just because you have access to these people and that's who you learn with. There is something about families singing together that is real.
Well, at your show at the Grand Ole Opry, the Isaacs. And to be honest with you, if I'm confessing, I was like, okay, well, here comes a Southern gospel group or whatever, know, kind of thing. They were not that.
Mm-hmm.
And they may run in those circles, But they came out and used one microphone. That was one thing.
Right. It's so old school. I love it.
Yeah, they sang, and they had instruments and would lean in for different parts. And what was the big one they did at the end? They did a Lauren Daigle song.
Okay.
And like just slayed it. I mean, they really did. And they did another one. God, what was it?
But put their own like spin on it.
You were there. You were the
Yeah, but I was probably backstage pacing and like dreading my set. I was nervous. I was really nervous until I got up there. And once the first joke landed, I was fine. But that day was kind of a blur to me.
Yeah.
At the opera.
I think, I don't know, it was like Hotel California or something. It was something
They did not do Hotel California.
It was something that had like a really...
The Isaacs.
It had a...
Southern Gospel. Let's talk about this song that may or may not be.
And we're
going to start out with Witchy Woman.
People started to leave. They're like, no. You can check out
anytime you like. You can't leave the Opry.
Yeah, you can't leave the Opry, John.
No. John, you know what else you can't leave?
What's that?
Commercials. Well, I mean, I guess you could, but don't. Please don't.
Why
because take a minute and listen. Because they help us keep the lights on. We appreciate our sponsors. And let's hear a few words from a few of our fine sponsors right now.
You want me to tell you all the verses of If I Could But Touch?
I don't know. You know all the stanzas?
I think I remember the second verse. Blind Bartimaeus sat by the way he sat begging. Nobody to help him down life's weary way. Then Jesus came by and he heard his sad crying. He reached out his hand and touched him that day. Boom, boom, for bad touch him. And then you're in. Yeah.
Man.
It's crazy those things stick with me.
You know what? I think that's kind of cool about music. And what's powerful about faith music, honestly, is that like it has a way of, I joke about it now because I talk about writing scriptures as punishment.
Yeah.
And I kind of joke about it as though it's like abuse in a way. But also I go, you know what? I remember those scriptures.
Yeah.
You know, I remember almost all of 1 Corinthians 13. I could probably quote it. And I wrote it a lot. You know, you get in there, you're going to love your brother.
Yeah.
He's all you have.
Yeah, I really struggle as a dad to know. Because like I don't think I was ever forced. But like I was in like a church Boy Scout thing.
Yeah.
And we had all these badges for Bible stuff. And I took awards and accomplishment very seriously.
Of course.
And so, man, I would go.
How are you supposed to earn your father's love?
I would be home memorizing half the Bible because when you're a kid, your brain will do it.
Right.
And I'm so grateful. And then I did a Bible quiz. And I was like in middle school, early high school. And I am aware of a lot of scripture that comes back to me that's just in there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's in some place. Like I can't remember, what song the Isaac sang. And that was like, 3 weeks ago.
Can't remember why we walked into this room right now.
No, but I can tell you a bunch of, so yeah, I think
that's why you hide his word in your heart, John.
That's right, guys.
There's something to it. Sin. No, but there is something about it. And even like the church gets a knock and spiritual music, worship music in general today gets this knock of like, oh, it's just 7 words repeated 11 times, the 7-11 method. But that's how pop music works too.
Right.
Like go listen to any Lady Gaga song or any Beyonce song or any Imagine Dragons song, whatever. Like it's very repetitive. The droning thing of it, that's what it is. It's supposed to be like a chant, and some songs are like a chant.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be memorable that way. And I just think that's something that culture does. Yeah. And religious culture is no different. And it does it. It leaves a mark, though, for sure. That one left a mark for a whole other reason, though, that If I Could But Touch. But it is one of the funniest memories that I have of being in the band, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it was such a raw moment that we could not have planned that she chose that song. And we were just in this weird scenario. Because here we are, we think we're this big rock band, and we're in this very traditional church. And we're kind of just there thinking like, all right, we'll just grin and bear this service that's going to be probably traditional, not really geared at us, but we'll do it. Yeah. We're here. And then, of course, the funniest thing that we can't laugh at happens, and we have to figure out how we're going to hold it together. Like, it's just such a funny, pure moment.
It is. I have several memories, too, of one, every time we played in a church like that, the sound nightmare of it all.
Yeah.
Either trying to plug into their system, and our bass player was like this unbelievable professional.
Oh yeah.
Like the dude could play. He had a 7-string bass. Like if you don't know, bass normally has 4, maybe 5. If you're really out there, 6.
Right.
Dude had a 7, and like could just, play.
He would play chords on a bass.
Yeah. And the deal was, he also was our sound guy, like stage side. Mm-hmm. And so everything was a little bass heavy because that's what he heard, and it was just, man, we were always fighting with feedback and squealing. And
we're always pushing the room to a level of decibels it had never seen before we got there.
Yeah.
And people were losing fillings and
people didn't like it. And you're trying, it's stressful and the chords don't work right. And then, my other thought is the Toyota van, which our friend Andrew, by the way, who's a podcast listener, came to church the other day.
Yeah.
Brought his family. It was great meeting him. He came back into the studio, got to hang out. And I gave him a copy. He asked
That's right. We talked about it because we read his note. He liked Passion, but he liked Toyota van.
He liked Toyota van. Yeah. And I started thinking, you and I were talking the other day, all those days in the Toyota van. And I especially remember for some reason driving in West Tennessee and Kentucky. Those are the places I remember the most. There was no air conditioner in that thing.
No.
I don't see when I'm driving around, and I've had a few car problems lately, and I'm going, man, how did we even do that? But it was great. It's all good memories. I don't have any
no. And
it was so hot.
The weird thing about the van was we had to pile it up just like Tesla blocks to get everything of our gear in it. And all the seats were taken out of the van. But the engine was under the front seat in the Toyota van. So it would slide back like a hood would to access the engine, which is important because we had to add oil to it all the time.
A lot.
So if the oil light came on, it was an emergency because it was getting ready to explode. And we would have to pull over on the side of the road and unload the back of the van.
Right. Unload our equipment
from the back of the van to make room for the seat hatch to open up, to add oil. That is, that would be 100. It would be 100 degrees in Arkansas.
Yeah. And what's crazy is today, at this age, we would just be like, we're not doing that.
No, I would just decide not to do it.
We'll do something different.
I would quit the band.
Yeah, we'll pay for something.
And John, you did quit the band, and it still hurts.
I didn't. I don't think I ever officially quit. I think it's still going.
Are you saying the band's gonna? That's true. We never really disbanded.
Yeah,
we're still banded.
We're still banded.
Oh boy.
Hey, Johnny, it's about that time.
Oh, is it?
It's my quote of the week. A segment we call "They Talked About That."
You know, it's funny, this music, we got a note from somebody saying they recognized the thing. Do you have that pulled up?
Yeah. I don't know if some algorithm.
We'll figure out the weird royalties because it's royalty free.
It should be fine, but it's a sorry, let me see, just so we can give credit here. This is from Bill Bryant in this stuff.
I love Bill Bryant.
And
run through a wall for that guy.
So I'm just going to play a little bit of it. It's for an aeronautics company, and they're doing
He said he was watching this video.
Yeah.
And he said, I recognized the music. He was watching a YouTube video.
So here's what it sounds like.
1975. A lone F-15 was stripped of its paint, speed brake, flap actuators, radar and fire control systems, unneeded cockpit instrumentation, generators, redundant radios, and anything that could be left on the ground. Engineers even removed her Vulcan 20mm cannon and all external pylons, leaving a super clean, slick, light, and powerful eagle that had only one place to go, up like a bat out of hell.
Wonderful.
I noticed that no one's singing along in theirs.
I know. That's what they're missing. How
could you not?
They're missing some harmonies.
Yeah, well.
From the Isaacs.
Okay, Johnny, it's, they talked about that.
Yeah.
We're back. Today, I'm quoting Lewis Smedes, who was a Christian author, ethicist, theologian, and he was...
We need more ethicists today, don't you think?
Professor of theology and ethics for 25 years at Fuller Theological Seminary in Pasadena, California. I actually got this quote, though, from my favorite, probably daily book. Not probably. My favorite daily book is the Proverbs devotional by Tim Keller.
Yeah.
And it's just so good. It's every day is so good. And it's a thing you can just keep reading every year because you don't remember everything. It's 365 things.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying?
The days.
Yeah. Smedes says, truthfulness is one more invisible fiber that holds people together in humane community. When we cannot assume that people communicating with us are truthful, we cannot live with them in trust that they will respect our right to freedom to respond to reality. If we cannot trust each other to respect this basic right, We have lost our chance to be human together in God's manner. Speak the truth, be the truth, for your truth sets others free. And that was in 1989.
Huh.
And so when you hear the term like, your truth, they were not using that term.
Right.
Back then. But
they weren't saying the world as you see it,
right.
Whatever weird way.
Right. He's saying it's important, and Keller was writing about how society needs, and he specifically is talking about media. So this is, I think he wrote it in like 2010 or 12, and he was writing about how it's getting harder and harder, and he used the term fake news in the devotional. And I think that we want to separate sometimes our faith from the things happening in the world. And the bottom line is as long as our faith is informing the way we engage with the world, that's fine. But when the world is informing our faith, which I think is what happens, I think we get backwards on this. It does matter if the things that are being said are accurate and true. And when those who are saying them from any stripe of, whether it's politics or social things, when we're intentionally allowing misinformation to be propagated for the purpose of us advancing our cause, when we begin to think our cause is higher than truth, we begin to think that, well, the other side cheats, therefore I have to cheat in order to show up. Right. Or like we
the end justifies the means. Once we get this power, then we'll straighten up and we'll be the city on a hill.
And you can never, I think I'm going to use it, you can't govern or rule according to a different standard that put you into the place of governance or ruling.
Yeah.
Because what you plant is how the things are going to grow, and you'll have to be stuck in those patterns.
Yeah, the thing I always think about is like there was a comedian that had a bit about he would set alarm, and you've done this because I've asked you if you did this. Is he would set different alarms in different rooms in his house, like in his office. He was always late to things, so he would set his office clock like 15 minutes ahead. So he'd be like, "I gotta leave," because he would always be guilty of leaving his house late.
Yeah.
And so he would just say, like, you're just tricking yourself into, if you're late, just go into a room where you're early. And it's like, it's funny, but it's also like, that's how people are living. Like, if we're wrong, we just go into a room that will tell us we're right.
Wow.
You just turn on a channel that will agree with your belief on XYZ, or you'll find enough followers on YouTube that'll back up your weird, whatever cult-like belief that we've fallen into. And then you just go, yeah. So I just think we've got like 8 different alarms in our houses of our head now. We're just like, I'll just go into this. So we're living in different realities. And that's the thing with comedy that's making comedy so hard. It's not even political correctness anymore. It's that a premise of a joke, the unfunny part of the joke is the premise. It just establishes reality.
Right.
So let's say you want to do a joke about, nobody does jokes about COVID anymore, but let's say you wanted to, and you just wanted to talk about it. You'd be afraid to because people
they don't share a definition
of reality around COVID. So people just moved on from that subject because it's like, we can't agree. Even if you say the word mask or say the word vaccine, it's such a hot button because we have so many different realities that we are living in about that subject. So yeah, the shared idea of truthfulness and the people that have monetized disinformation are the ones we should be mad at. But instead we just find the ones that we like. I was saying that to a friend the other day. I was just saying, like, we don't agree that like billionaires are a problem. We just have decided which ones are the good and which ones are the bad. Well, he's a billionaire that happens to have my political beliefs, so he's probably one of the good ones. It's like, maybe we should question whether or not people should be trampling under people for the almighty dollar, or what their motives can be after the fact.
Again,
and all
I'm
that.
not sure how much money you have.
I have $1 billion, John.
Johnny, you're the billionaire that I would align
Thank you.
with. No, I think that here's what's scary about it all. And I'm not an alarmist in this respect. I just think it's worth paying attention to. So I'm a researcher.
Yeah.
And I've gone to my 3rd AI platform now because I've been trying to train 2 other ones, Chat being the first one, which if you guys don't know this, and I'm not trying to besmirch it.
But in case it's listening.
Chat is unbelievably inaccurate
Right.
And will lie to you over and over again if you're trying to do real research and you're only using chat as like the master search engine. And you can train it for all the things and you can tell it over and over again, do not compose, do not write anything, find the real things with a verified link so that I can do the research. I'm just having you help find some things. Like you're my super Google, you know. And the other day, I mean, there was some things in the like ancient church fathers type thing, and the quotes that with links that I was getting from Chad and another one, like they were believable.
Yeah.
For the topic I'm researching, for the person who said it, and there's a link there, and you assume, okay, well, this is a verified thing. I mean, that's unbelievable. It said exactly what I was looking for,
right.
And then I was like, wait a second. It says exactly what I'm looking for.
Oh, boy.
And never when I research is that usually the case. So I click the link. It's a dead link. It doesn't work.
So it's learning to become like a people pleaser.
It does. And you tell it, I told you, see this long list of 35 parameters that you're not supposed to break? Oh, sorry, you're right. I broke that. I don't think everybody's stopping to check.
Yeah.
In fact, I see...
Well, you find something that agrees with you stop looking.
But
that's how most Google searches go.
But you can't.
You go, hey, my elbow hurts. It says it's this. All right, thanks, WebMD, and you just self-diagnose your whatever.
It's scary because now I found, by the way, the one I found that does it pretty well. I still have to check it, but you can ask it. I was like, why are you doing that? And one of them told me the thing you just said. They were like, my programming is meant to help people find what they want to find.
Yeah. Oof.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm here to help them. Like, it wasn't saying, he's like, I can't, even though you keep instructing me not to.
It feels like a dystopian sci-fi movie.
Something inside will constantly that'll slip through. And here's what I started thinking, Johnny. Think about this. If people are not searching that, you realize I could have written and published something that's a misquote.
Right.
From some 4th century scholar.
Now it's referenced by somebody else.
Correct.
It goes into it's like you set a precedent.
Who's ever going to go and check if St. John Chrysostom actually said that or not?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like something he might have said. And then it gets reprinted because it's so great, and it gets reprinted because it's so great. And then 5 years from now, we just think the guy said that, and he never did.
It's the telephone game.
It is, except it's happening at an exponential pace. I mean, so truthfulness is really, really important. And it's not just, I know, Johnny, a minute ago you said, whatever weird conspiracy theory or cultish thing. And the problem is when people hear those terms, we all assume that you're attacking our ability to evaluate something well. And I think what Johnny was saying, if you heard him, he's used a we. We can all do that. Like, it's not like we're saying just you do that. Every one of us.
No, it's like the machine. They're figuring out the holes in our defenses. All of us. Like it is like phishing scams and things like that, where it'll say Chase Visa, log in. And then you go to, and it looks like your website, and there's somebody on the other side of that seeing you type in your password. Like, it's made to look real.
Yeah.
And so if you're not really savvy, you're like, wait a minute. So one time I got one of those years ago, and I typed in the wrong password just to see if it would open it, and it did. It opened this other portal, and I knew I had typed in the wrong. I was like, that's what that was, and so I reported it or whatever. But it's like, I could have easily fallen for that.
Well, somebody sent me a video the other day, and it was a really famous politician from years past making a speech about a very hot topic issue today.
Yeah.
And this guy that everyone respects in history started talking about basically the opposite viewpoint of what most people believe today, but a very hardcore, hardline viewpoint on it. And I could look at the mouth of the guy and could tell, I don't think that's lined up just by looking at it.
Uh-huh.
So it took me about 5 minutes to find 5 verification sites that go, this is AI generated. And it's from a real speech. It's from, here's the date of the real speech, and here's the transcript of the real speech. And then here's the transcript of the speech that now someone's programmed the voice to say.
Yeah.
And I just sent that article back like, hey, here's I didn't say anything. Just, this is not real. And I get nothing in response. That's what's scary, because it's not like, well, I'm just on to the next thing now.
Right. Well, the need to believe what we want to believe is so much more powerful than that's why we have to just be searchers of truth, because if you find the truth and you go, wherever this leads, we'll go there, versus I'm going to keep searching until I find the thing that backs up what my weird biases are.
Yeah.
And whatever that means. So I don't know. I just wish you would fix it, whatever it is.
I'm working on it, guys. I'm training an AI model to help me fix it.
Just keep trying. Truthfulness. Come on, man. Let's bring it. I say we bring it back. Let's do old jokes with Jonnie. We call it Joke About That. John, we might have talked about this comedian before on the show, but I wanted to kind of celebrate the work today of one Mitch Hedberg. Are you familiar with Mitch Hedberg at all?
Yes, through you.
What do you know about him?
The things you've told me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mitch was a great comic. Probably came to fame in the mid to late 90s. I can't remember when he passed away. I want to say it was early 2000s at a pretty young age, 35 or so. And so he's one of these guys that's kind of like got a James Dean. He kind of looms large in comedy because of his short life.
Yeah, early exit.
But he was so brilliant. And he was one of the guys, too, that I used to have kind of an unwritten rule in my comedy that I never really thought about. But now that I look back at it, I see that it was there. And it was basically like, I want people to be able to read my jokes in their voice and still it be funny. Because sometimes you see people and they go, if you read it on paper, you'd be like, I don't get it. But when you see them do it, you go, holy moly, that guy's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I had this kind of like, I want this to be, and Mitch Hedberg wrote jokes like that. You could take 100 Mitch Hedberg jokes and on your car ride, you could just read them to your daughter and she would laugh as though Mitch Hedberg was in the car. That's how funny he was. But then you add his pizzazz to it. You add his character, which he had this kind of a hippie character that he would do. Mitch was famous for kind of being a shoegazing guy. He had a lot of stage fright. He wore sunglasses on stage. He would kind of look at the floor a little bit. Mm-hmm. He smiled, but he was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He was not a guy who was just like, I'm at home up here. He was like, I wrote this. I want you to hear it. I'm confident that it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing I love about Mitch before we get into his jokes is he was one of the first people I saw that combined like a really smart brain that you could see just saw the world in a totally different way, but he was also very silly.
Yeah.
He could be both. And I really thought that's what's great about Mitch. So a few Mitch Hedberg jokes for today. I won't read these in Mitch's voice. I mean, it's hard not to read a Mitch Hedberg joke in Mitch's voice, but I don't have a girlfriend, but I do know a woman who'd be mad at me for saying that. I wanted to buy a candle holder, but the store didn't have one, so I got a cake. You know, they have a fishing show on TV. They catch the fish, they let it go. They don't want to eat the fish, they just want to make it late for something. You know, you can't please all the people all the time. And last night, all those people were at my show. And Mitch wrote jokes that reminded. The reason I wanted to do Mitch today was I read this story or this article in Reddit about a kind of joke. And I never knew what this was before, but this is the phrase. It is called a paraprosdokian. A paraprosdokian is a figure of speech in which the latter part of the phrase is surprising in a way that causes the reader or listener to reinterpret the first part.
Okay.
An example would be Mitch Hedberg's famous one-liner, I haven't slept for 10 days, because that would be too long.
Nice.
So you hear the second part, it makes you realize and it would make me think of it because Groucho Marx wrote like 4 of those, and we did Groucho last week, and the whole one morning I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I'll never know.
Right.
I've had a lovely evening, and tonight wasn't it.
Yeah.
And so like you have like that kind of phrase, and I realized that I had a couple of those in my show without meaning to. I've written a couple of those. I just started doing one that I wrote years ago, and it is that 1 in 5 women is a Russian nesting doll.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, a couple more Mitches and then we'll move forward. This shirt is dry clean only, which means it's dirty. I like to hold, this is a very funny, silly one. I like to hold the microphone cord like this. I pinch it together and then I let it go and you hear a whole bunch of jokes at once. It's just such a funny, silly, childish joke, but very whimsical and fun. I think foosball is a combination of soccer and shish kebabs. And finally, for Mitch this week, my sister wanted to be an actress, but she never made it. She does live in a trailer. She got halfway. She's an actress. She just never gets called to the set. The great Mitch Hedberg. We celebrate you, Mitch, and rest in peace.
Yeah.
Let's move forward, John. This week in history, we call it Talk About Then. John, this week, 1891, Thomas Edison applied for a patent for his motion picture camera, the kinetoscope. Did not know this about Edison. The viewer allowed one person at a time to view the film through a peephole window. The concept was first described by Edison in 1888, though it was largely developed by his employee, William Kennedy Laurie Dixon. Again, Edison is creeping towards... I know we don't like this whole thing of like revisiting history and like trying to take down people that we considered heroes, and there's a lot of like pushback to that, but like the more you know about Edison, it feels a lot like he was just like in the room when stuff was invented, and we think he was some... I'm not saying he wasn't a genius, but come on, Edison.
He also was surrounded by geniuses.
That's what I mean.
Maybe that was his genius.
Maybe that's the thing. Be the dumbest guy in the room. That's your key. And then, but people just assume Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, but there was a ton of other people involved that probably got there first, right? We know that now. And we know the whole Edison versus Tesla thing was a whole disaster. Not modern Tesla. I don't think he invented the electric car. Anyway, motion pictures. And that'll loom large here in a minute. But first, let's talk about this. Robin Leach passed away this week in 2018. What do you know about Robin Leach?
Lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Yeah. Champagne wishes, caviar dreams. I think it's interesting to think about his life. The reason he made the list this week is I thought about him as like, he kind of gave us that weird Instagram before Instagram.
Yeah, the fantasy of someone else's life being better than yours.
Yeah. And you go, oh, I didn't even know. I mean, it's not that we didn't have envy before. I'm sure we did.
I didn't know I should want to have a hot tub in my boat in the back or in my helicopter.
It's like envy is one thing, and we all dealt with it because it's in the commandments. Thou shalt not covet. I get it. But like, it feels like Robin Leach like metastasized our envy as a culture.
And he had a British accent. Oh, so then you really thought it was...
It's all regal. He's wearing a ascot. He's holding a...
Who's got?
Exactly. Anyway, he passed away, and we're sorry that he's gone. But at the same time, I do think that there's something to the thing of like, once we monetized, jealousy, the way that he was able to do it, cultural fantasization, like you talked about, like, what are we... I don't know. I don't know if that was a good cultural hallmark for us.
Yeah, I mean... I think that
somebody else would have. He hadn't probably. But
we watch a show on HBO, and it's by the creator of Downton, and it's called The Gilded Age.
Yeah, Curry watches that,
and it's so great because the thing about those shows is it shows like it's like these huge ensemble casts of people you haven't necessarily heard of, but they become people you hear of. But often it's the servants' quarters and what they're doing, interacting with someone else who's very wealthy. Those two shows both have that
it's like
in
a caste system.
This is basically like Downton Abbey in New York in the 1890s.
Okay.
Late 1880s, 1890s, which is, completely unregulated government. You have the railroad, Ruggie, the railroad tycoons, and you have the steel tycoons, and you have the, like everybody's...
People never say tycoon anymore. What happened to tycoons?
A podcast tycoon.
Yeah, we need to bring tycoons back. Yeah. I don't think it's not a good connotation.
No, but...
Okay.
Whatever it
You got to have a derby hat. I know that.
Yeah.
Got to have a derby.
But like... I think that even back then, because like one of the main storylines, which in America is happening different than happened in England at that time, or it was more likely, is, one of the guys who's just a footman ends up creating a clock that will not have to be rewound. Like that it'll stay on, and he ends up selling the patent.
And then Edison was like, called it! I did that!
And like he sells it, and he gets like $300,000 for it, which back then is like $10 million.
Sure.
So he becomes this completely wealthy guy, and you watch, he doesn't like it at first. Like, he's not trying to, he just wants to stay. He's an orphan. It's the only family he's ever known is working there. And I just think like how they all wanted him to get it.
Right.
Because they had the idea they work in the big house. In this huge, mansion, but then not sure. I don't know. I think we're less thankful for the things we do have than maybe past generations. Even though I think generations since the mid 1800s at least have been always looking, how can I join the annals of the rich, right? How can I be in those stories? So anyway, it's interesting. Yeah.
Even Cribs was a thing too that came after Lifestyles Rich and Famous, which now I've seen so many articles since then about how like that was all fake. Like, you would get some rap star, and like when you go into that person's house, it's not their house. It was usually their agent.
Wow.
Like they would borrow a house to be like, all right, Ludacris, this is your house for this show. And he would walk around in it to get familiar with it enough to show you, and here's the 5th bathroom. But it's not even his house. It was like, you're presenting a fantasy to your fans because you want them to believe it about you. So they're fantasizing about being Ludacris when even Ludacris isn't living the life of Ludacris.
I can't believe that Ludacris or whomever would go along with something like that.
I just think you go like, if they just saw my little house that I just bought with my first proceeds from my album, because a lot of times when you're a record star, it takes a couple of records to pay back the recoupment.
Yeah.
So you don't even really make real money until your 3rd or 4th record. So it's like this idea of like overnight I have a house that's, billions of dollars. Like you're borrowing. They borrowed those cribs, many of them. And I'm sure there are a couple. I'm sure like if you go to Mariah Carey's house, it was probably her real house. But I'm saying like there were so many that I've seen on YouTube where the guys will admit, yeah, that was my agent's house.
I was thinking about this yesterday when you just said that. We opened for a pretty big band at our day that they'd been on tour with Third Day. They had the number 1 song on the radio, and it was like a big deal for us.
Right.
I think the only thing, we opened for Switchfoot one time, which was like, wow.
Right.
That was like our, kind of moment.
Yeah.
This was a big deal for us at the times before that.
Right.
And like literally we were sitting at a table signing autographs.
Yeah.
Next to them.
Right.
I mean, we're at the height, Jonnie. Like this is like, oh my gosh, we're actually doing something.
We're adjacent to fame.
Yeah.
Adjacent.
These guys
fame
had the
adjacent.
number 1 song on the radio, which back then, and the record deal, and they're not even from this country.
Right.
Like, so they're international stars.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude, I'll never forget it because you were standing there, I think. He came to me and he said, hey, can I come preach at your church in the morning? Because we're just so poor.
Right.
Remember, I never forget him saying
he's like, I'll do it for a love offering or whatever.
He said, yeah, we're just so poor. We don't have any money. We can't survive.
Yeah.
And I never was like, it was like this big, what?
Right.
Like, it's not because we wanted to get all that to become rich. It's not that. But the idea that you couldn't even make ends meet.
Yeah.
And that you just played a stadium with some other, artist. I mean, they weren't headlining the stadiums or something, but they were out on the big tours. And we didn't know anything about buying on the tours, and we didn't understand anything about whatever deal they signed was regulating how much money they were making off of. There's no doubt they had not paid back their advance yet and all the things.
Yeah, it's
and so to us, it was just like, oh my gosh. You know? And then you get behind the scenes, you go, it's not lifestyles rich and famous for everybody that looks rich and famous.
Yeah, it's like, but we were disappointed that they took the wind out of our fantasy for their own life.
Yeah.
In a way, we're almost like, I wanted to live vicariously through you. Let me imagine one more minute.
Don't bring me down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about your poverty.
Yeah. John, this week, 1939, The Wizard of Oz, the film adaptation of L. Frank Baum's 1900 book, The Wizard of Oz, is released, starring Judy Garland as Dorothy and Terry as Toto. This is my favorite part. It said, it was the story of 2 women fighting over a pair of shoes. That's literally what This Week in History says about the film. It's a very funny synopsis of the film. Buddy Epson was famously cast as the Tin Man, went on to be Jed Clampett, but had to quit. You know why he had to quit, right?
Because he was breaking out from
He was allergic,
paint.
An extreme allergic reaction to the silver makeup.
Yeah.
And this is the most famous thing about Wizard of Oz and why it made the list. It initially lost money at the box office, making only $2 million back of its over $3 million budget. It wasn't until its re-release 10 years later, 1949, that its studio finally earned a profit on the film, and then its television debut in 1956 made it a household name and a beloved classic. They show it 5 times a year.
What was the first year?
1939. Then 1949, they re-released it in theaters.
39 to 56. That's how long it took for it to become...
to catch hold.
Isn't that crazy?
And it was well liked. It was just, there was a big year for films, and so it was critically acclaimed and everything. But it was like, yeah. And so I remember the bit, Paula Poundstone used to have a bit about it. She would say, like, we don't really know what's good, evidently, until years later.
Yeah.
When they show it to us on TV over and over again until we like it. She goes, what if Rambo 3 is really good? And then they start showing it every Easter. Like, we don't know. Maybe we don't know.
Yeah.
And it's true. We don't know if Rambo 3 is not good, by the way. Don't. She was wrong.
Rambo 2 is good. Sorry, go ahead.
John, this week, 1835, The Great Moon Hoax, the first of 6 articles, is published in the New York newspaper, The Sun, oddly enough, about the supposed discovery of life on the moon. The article described fantastic animals on the moon, including bison, goats, unicorns, bipedal tailless beavers, and bat-like winged humanoids who built temples. These discoveries were supposedly made with an immense telescope of an entirely new principle. The hoax greatly increased sales of the Sun, even after it was exposed. Back to your story about truthfulness. Even after you expose that it's a hoax, it's kind of too late. The toothpaste is out of the tube, Yeah. The discoveries were falsely attributed to Sir John Herschel, one of the best-known astronomers of the time. The date of the hoax coincided with the anniversary of Galileo Galilei demonstrating his telescope to Venetian lawmakers. So that's kind of how they thought. Yeah. It was This Week in History was when Galileo, so let's put this weird moon hoax out there as a joke almost. And it caught fire, and they just ran with it, and sales went through the roof. People love fantastical stories.
Yeah.
That's just, and once they're out, it's like the sunk cost fallacy. Once you've invested in something, you don't want to go back and admit you were duped or give up the time that you've invested in that.
It's just time, if nothing else. And no one wants to feel foolish for being wrong.
I wish I had that time. I wish I had this time back. John, finally, this week, Regis Philbin was born 1931. He passed in 2020. He was an American TV personality, sometimes called the hardest working man in show business. Philbin holds, I did not know this, the Guinness World Record for the most hours on U.S. television. Did you not know that?
Really?
Isn't that wild? Because I guess from the daytime show, and then when he was doing Millionaire, he started his television career as a page for The Tonight Show in the 1950s.
Wow. TV
Live with Regis and Kathy Lee from 1988 to 2000. That's a 12-year run every day for an hour or two. I don't know how long that show was, at least an hour. Live with Regis and Kelly, 2001 to 2011. And Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, 2009 to 2010, when it was his heyday. That was like when it was like he brought back the primetime game show era of television. With Millionaire, and it just made me think about Millionaire as the phenomenon that it was. You watched then, right? Everybody was kind of watching then, and it kind of brought, I think it's one of the reasons like trivia has taken hold still in culture of like, you see trivia nights at bars, and a lot of it's based on the idea of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
Of like, they'll play music while you kind of figure out your answer, you hand it in.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I always fantasize about being on those shows because I fancy myself as someone who knows some things.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to me when you put me on the spot. Even like at a table, like just happened a minute ago. I can't remember. I know it. I can see it. I can't get there, and the thought of being that on national television.
Yeah, it's like people that go on Jeopardy. It's not just navigating the questions and getting the right questions. It's the buzzer that'll lock you out. If you're not quick enough on the buzzer, it's made to lock you out if somebody clicks in half a second earlier or a microsecond earlier. And so you got to be really comfortable buzzing in before the question's even out sometimes.
Yeah.
And then they go, and they have to stop reading. And you're like, all right, I don't know what the next word was going to be. Let me just say, who was Peloponnesian War?
Right.
And that's not even the way to...
Have you seen that Bateman commercial? Have you seen Bateman?
Mm-mm.
It's Jason Bateman.
Oh, yeah, Bateman, yeah.
It's when
you want Batman, but you get Bateman or whatever.
The latest one, it's the Riddler, and he has some goon holding him up, and he's like asking a question, and he starts answering, what is, he goes, you don't need to answer in a question form. It's like, and he says, what is love? He just keeps, like, just throw him off the building.
What is love?
It's so funny. I like those.
Who was the Peloponnesian? Peloponnesian? That's different.
Polynesian?
Peloponnesian. Anyway.
There's no way to know.
I don't know. I think I would have done okay, but again, trivia only shows you what you already know. And it won't that? You're not learning from trivia unless you put it in your memory banks and know it for next time. But I'm saying, like, if you get put on the spot, you figure out what you have inside.
Yeah.
And Regis is going to find out. And he's wearing a tie that's the exact same color as his dress shirt.
Yes. That was the monochromatic age.
Yeah, they brought that in, man. Yeah. What about a shiny black tie over my matte black shirt?
Yeah.
How about that for you guys?
I did monochromy. I don't know.
Peloponnesian.
Whenever I was in those days.
Regis.
Me and Regis.
Yeah, we miss you, Reg. Anyway, that's it for today for This Week in History, John. What a show. If people want to learn more about the show, John, where would they go?
Talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
Almost 400 episodes. We're winding down we're getting closer. We're not winding down. We're getting close to We're
sounds like
nearing
a bomb that's ticking.
Yeah. We're getting close to 400 episodes, and very proud of that. And thanks for listening if you're out there. Click on the upper right-hand link if you want ad-free content. The lower right-hand link if you want to send us a note. Hello. At talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
Several people have reached out saying they would come to a live show and they would like it for it to be at Zany's.
Okay. We got to figure that
at the
out.
lab or something.
Speaking of which, I have a show at Zany's The Lab, Jonnie W. and Friends, next Thursday, August 28th. And there are a few tickets left.
Okay. It's a fun show, guys. I've been to it.
Yeah, it's a small venue, but it's super fun. Come out, and I got some great folks coming in. And one of my friends, Stephen Rogers, is coming in from out of town, from New York. He opens for Brian Regan, Tom Papa, Nate Bargatze on the road. He's a great killer comic from New York. He's coming to be on that show. A few other friends. Don't miss it. That's August 28th. Tickets at johnnyw.com.
Yeah. Exciting times in the Jonnie W. world. Make sure you follow him on socials and make sure you go see his show wherever he is in the country. Man. There's things happening behind the scenes, guys. If you knew about it, oh my goodness.
We're churning.
Whew.
It's like a duck. I look calm on the surface, but those little legs
are just working it to
death. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
They are.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for the time you gave us today. It was a lot of fun. Let's do it again next week. Here on
Talk About That.